Perplexity Pages is a new feature that makes it incredibly easy to conduct research into any topic of your choosing in a visually appealing and well-structured way. These pages created in Perplexity AI can then easily be shared with anyone of your choosing, which opens up so many use cases for researchers, educators, bloggers, and of course anyone that just likes to dive deep into any subject. Today, I'm going to show you how to get the most out of Perplexity Pages. There is so much to cover, so prepare to level up and let's get right into it. To create a new Perplexity page, click the plus icon next to Library, then select Page. Just a note, if you don't see the Page option yet, it is still in beta and being gradually rolled out. Okay, if you're looking for inspiration on where to begin, the bottom row always has some pretty cool suggestions. But for today, we'll let Perplexity know we'd like to create a page about the planet Mars. The audience drop-down is a very handy feature and allows you to tailor your page to different audiences. So we can tailor our page to anyone, beginners or experts on the topic. For today, we'll select anyone and then hit enter. Perplexity AI then goes on to create a page about Mars, giving it the title The Red Planet. I like how the Perplexity interface stays pretty simple and not overwhelming, yet there is a lot going on here and so many useful features that are easy to miss. So before I dive into all of that, let's quickly get a lay of the land. As we can see, Perplexity sourced a header image, created a title for our page, now called The Red Planet, and also added in an intro paragraph. To the right of that is our chapter or section navigation. And at the very bottom of the page, there's a box to add in additional sections and topics as needed. Now, before diving deeper into editing and customizing our Perplexity page, I will point out the layout button, which provides a quick and easy way to customize the visual appearance of your page. So you can choose between large header image, small header image, which moves the image to the right, and of course, no header image at all if that is your preference. Pretty handy. For this page, I'll stick to large header image. Okay, now let's dive into the weeds of editing and customizing Perplexity pages. When you first create a Perplexity page, you're taken to the editing page as indicated in the top bar. And at any time, you can preview your page to see what it'll look like once published. Clicking into the header image while on the preview page allows us to also be able to click through to the source of the image, and I'd highly recommend you always do this with anything Perplexity generates, as it is not always correct or relevant. As in this case, it pulled in a movie poster, whereas it would have been more appropriate to pull in an actual image of Mars. Either way, not to worry, as this can all be corrected in one of three ways. To do that, we'll X out of this image, then click Continue Editing. On the image, we can then click Change. First, we can search for an image here, and hovering the image will also show its source. The second way to change our header image in our Perplexity page is to generate an image, which is a great feature if you're working on more abstract topics and pages. For now, let's take it for a spin by clicking the photograph icon. You'll notice, unlike image generation tools such as DALL-E, you can't actually prompt the image generator here, as Perplexity AI generates the image based on the topic and context of our current Perplexity page. And a bit of a pro tip, if you hover over the image, you'll be able to see which model Perplexity AI used to generate the image. So for this particular image, they used their own custom image model called Playground. Though sometimes you'll notice it'll also use DALL-E 3, another incredible AI image generator. Either way, this is a pretty interesting rendition of what Mars looks like. And lastly, you can also upload your own image as the cover for your Perplexity page. For this particular page, I'm going to go with an image sourced from Scientific American. Once your image is selected, you can easily click and drag anywhere on the image to reposition it to your liking. Next, if you're not happy with the page's generated title, you can easily change it by clicking the edit button right next to it. And same thing goes for the intro. You can choose to rewrite the intro, after which we get a new AI-generated introduction. Just a note, at least for now, you actually can't type in your own intro. And one more thing under the Edit button, you can have the option to emphasize the sources used in the entire page, of which we can see Perplexity AI actually pulled from a ton of different sources. Now, let's take a look at editing sections in Perplexity Pages. Editing sections is pretty fun and easy. You can once again change the title of your section with the option of rewriting the section so it can better speak to your new section title. You'll also notice the section title will immediately be updated in the navigation pane as well. Next, clicking Add Media does pretty much the same thing it did for the header image. It'll source an image it thinks is most relevant, but you'll still have the option to change it or generate a new one based on the context it pulls from the section. One of my absolute favorite features here is the ability to customize your sources for a particular section. So if I click Sources, I can see the sources Perplexity AI used to generate this section. And supposing I didn't like a particular source because it was, say, outdated, I could simply select it, hit Remove Source, and then Perplexity proceeds to rewrite the section without using knowledge from that specific source. Pretty cool and convenient. The Edit button allows you to further customize your section with the first 3 buttons determining the text and image layout. Note that every time you select a different option here, the entire section will be rewritten. So for example, we're currently in the media and text layout. However, we can simply have a text section or a section that is just media. Note that if you select media, there's no going back to a text option for that particular section, and seems like there's also no undo button. I learned this one the hard way, and hopefully a feature update to easily go back is in the works. The next 3 edit options determine how your information is formatted, either in a paragraph, table, or list. The default in most cases will be paragraph formatting, which we're currently in. Now, of course, the usefulness of this feature will vary greatly depending on the information being presented. For example, a table may be great for something with a lot of dates and structured info, but not so much for abstract topics. Either way, let's try out the table option and see what we get. Perplexity then proceeds to give us a table summarization of Mars volcanic wonders. And supposing this layout wasn't exactly what we were going for, we can also give the list option a go, after which it then takes the information and presents it in a list format. The last edit option is whether you'd like your section to be detailed or concise. And so it goes without saying, the detailed option will give us a much more thorough output. I find this feature very convenient since it only affects the selected section, so you can be as concise or as detailed as you like for various sections throughout your page to help keep your audience engaged. Next, you can easily reorder the sections under the More button, though a drag and drop feature would have been really handy here, even in just the navigation pane. And supposing a section just isn't cutting it, you can delete it under the More dropdown. You can also easily insert sections mid-page by clicking Insert Section, which allows you to prompt Perplexity for a new section where you can easily select one of its suggested prompts tailored to your page. If you'd like to add a section at the very bottom of the page, you can simply select the big blue Add Section button. Okay, now it's time to shine. Once your page is in a good place, you can once again select Preview to see how it'll look like when shared and published. For those with a keen eye, you may notice that a related section only appears when on the preview page or published pages, but not on the edit page. So supposing you were to click into a related question, it'll actually run a standard Perplexity AI search, of which you'll then be able to turn it into its own page. And once you convert it to its own page, you can once again edit it to your liking. A quick side note, if you'd like a much more in-depth overview of how to make the most out of Perplexity AI, feel free to check out my full Perplexity AI tutorial linked down below and in the top right-hand corner. Okay, back to our Red Planet page, let's hit Publish. And just like that, our page is now live for the world to see. The great thing here is that the link is fully public, meaning the people you shared with won't need a Perplexity account to view it, and they won't even need an account to interact with the related questions, which is pretty cool and a great user experience. Okay, so Perplexity AI's Pages feature allows you to easily research a topic and present it in a professionally and well-sourced manner without breaking much of a sweat. This really could be a game changer for people in research, education, and blog writing. From testing out this tool, I will still say take the time to vet the sources incorporated, as Perplexity still sometimes generates inaccurate answers, especially if the sources used have conflicting information. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences with Perplexity Pages in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one.